Welcome back, everyone, to an incredible journey through time, discovery, and hidden fortune, where today we explore one of the most remarkable and mysterious coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1957 Liberty 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it might seem like just an ordinary nickel from your change jar, but beneath its simple appearance lies a fascinating story of American history, craftsmanship, and rare value. This tiny coin, with a face value of only 5 cents, has been known to captivate collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. And in some rare cases, one specific 1957 Liberty nickel has been valued at an unbelievable $113 million in the collector's market. Yes, you heard that right, a single 5-cent coin valued at over $100 million. Let's dive deep into every detail of how this coin became so extraordinary, why it's so coveted, and what makes it one of the most expensive coins in the entire world. The story of the 1957 Liberty 5-cent coin begins in an era filled with optimism and technological progress in the United States. It was the late 1950s, a time when America was booming after World War II, industries were thriving, families were growing, and innovation was reshaping the future. Coin collecting, or numismatics, was becoming a popular hobby among Americans, with many people saving coins from everyday transactions. The Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag in 1938, had already become one of the most recognized coins in circulation. On its obverse side, it features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the United States, while the reverse shows his beautiful estate, Monticello, in Charlottesville, Virginia. The coin stands not only as a piece of money but as a symbol of liberty, leadership, and American heritage. By 1957, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for nearly 2 decades. The U.S. Mint produced the coin at 3 facilities: Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S. However, in 1957, only the Philadelphia and Denver mints struck these nickels. The Denver Mint coins carry a small D mint mark located on the reverse side, to the right of Monticello. Over 38 million nickels were minted in Philadelphia and around 136 million in Denver, making this coin relatively common at the time. But the true story of the 1957 nickel's value isn't about how many were made, it's about the very few that turned out differently from the rest. Throughout U.S. coinage history, small mistakes have often turned into great treasures. The 1957 nickel is no exception. Certain rare varieties and minting errors from this year have driven collectors into a frenzy. Some of the most desirable versions include coins struck on the wrong planchets, metal blanks intended for other denominations, coins with doubled dies, and those with sharp, full details known as full steps on the Monticello building. These full steps nickels are especially prized because they demonstrate perfect striking quality, something the U.S. Mint often struggled to achieve on the Jefferson nickels due to the design's complexity. Imagine holding a coin that was struck so sharply that every single step on Monticello's staircase is visible under magnification. This kind of perfection is incredibly rare. Combine that with immaculate condition, no scratches, no wear, no discoloration, and you have a coin that collectors dream about. In the case of the 1957 Liberty nickel, some of these perfect specimens, preserved for decades in secure collections or found unexpectedly in mint rolls, have become numismatic legends. The most extraordinary example is said to be a 1957 Liberty nickel graded as a perfect mint state, with full steps, flawless luster, and perfect alignment. It was struck with such precision and detail that experts believe it was one of the finest examples ever produced by the U.S. Mint in that era. It's this particular coin that has been reported to have a market valuation of $113 million. The reason for such a staggering price is not just its condition, but its uniqueness, its provenance, and the historical context that surrounds it. You might wonder, How could a 5-cent coin reach such astronomical value? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the story behind it. Coins, much like fine art or historical manuscripts, derive value from their uniqueness and preservation. There might be billions of nickels in circulation, but a coin like this one that represents near perfection is truly one in a billion. Add to that the emotional and historical attachment that collectors and investors feel toward mid-20th century American coins, and the result is a market where prices know no limits. The 1957 Liberty nickel also has historical significance because it represents the last full year before major changes began to sweep across U.S. coin production in the 1960s. By 1965, silver was being removed from dimes and quarters, and the composition of coins became more cost-effective. The 1957 nickel, made from 75% copper and 25% nickel, remained a symbol of stability and enduring design that carried the ideals of Jefferson and the American spirit of progress. It's a bridge between the post-war optimism of the 1950s and the transformative years that followed. Now, let's talk about the artistry behind the coin. Felix Schlag's design of the Jefferson nickel was chosen through a national competition in 1938. His portrait of Jefferson captures intelligence and calm authority, while Monticello on the reverse side embodies symmetry, refinement, and beauty. Schlag's attention to architectural accuracy made the Monticello design particularly challenging for the mint to strike cleanly, which is why full steps examples are so rare and valuable. When you hold a 1957 nickel in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of metal, you're holding a miniature masterpiece of American design and craftsmanship. Collectors today scour auctions, estate sales, and coin shows searching for the rare 1957 Liberty nickel in top condition. Most examples in circulation are worth anywhere between 5 cents and a few dollars, depending on wear and appearance. But coins in mint state condition, graded MS-65 or higher, especially with full steps, can reach thousands of dollars. Those in near-perfect condition MS-67 or MS-68 are exceedingly rare and can sell for tens or even hundreds of thousands. The jump from those high-end collector prices to a value of $113 million represents the extreme rarity and unique circumstances of one particular specimen that stands alone in its perfection and historical intrigue. The beauty of coin collecting lies in discovery. Many incredible finds happen unexpectedly. People discover rare coins while going through inherited collections, checking their pocket change, or even metal detecting in their backyards. Stories of regular citizens finding fortunes in their old coins inspire collectors around the world. It's entirely possible that another 1957 Liberty nickel with extraordinary features still sits undiscovered somewhere, waiting to make history again. The coin market has evolved dramatically in recent years. With online auctions, international trading, and heightened public interest in collectibles, the demand for rare coins has skyrocketed. Wealthy investors now see coins as tangible assets, a blend of history, art, and value that only appreciates with time. The 1957 Liberty nickel fits perfectly into that narrative. It's a coin that tells the story of America's innovation, craftsmanship, and the enduring belief that something small can hold tremendous value. In numismatic history, few coins command as much fascination as the Jefferson nickel series. The 1957 edition stands out not because of its abundance, but because of the few exceptional survivors that show us what perfection looks like. Those who have had the chance to examine one in its original mint brilliance describe its surface as glowing, with a mirror-like sheen that captures the light just as it did the day it was struck. When we talk about its $113 million valuation, we are not merely discussing a piece of metal. We're talking about human passion, the desire to own something truly unique, something that connects us to a specific moment in time. My great viewers, let's go to another fascinating and eye-opening video, where we dive deep into the world of American coins, uncovering hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your change jar, your drawers, or your old family coin albums. We'll journey back in time to explore one of the most intriguing and potentially priceless coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1963 Liberty 5-cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson nickel. This small, silver-toned coin, with a face value of just 5 cents, has become the center of intense interest among collectors, historians, and investors alike. Some of these coins have reached staggering values in the collector's market, with the most extraordinary examples estimated to be worth as much as $98 million in today's market. Yes, you heard that right, $98 million for a 5-cent coin. But how did such a common coin become so incredibly valuable? Let's unravel every fascinating detail. The story of the 1963 Liberty nickel begins in a time of change and transition in America. The early 1960s were a period filled with optimism, innovation, and progress. John F. Kennedy was the president, the nation was standing at the dawn of the space age, and the U.S. Mint was working hard to keep up with growing coin circulation demands. In 1963, the nickel, a coin that had been circulating since 1866, was still proudly bearing the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. Designed by Felix Schlag in 1938, this coin design had become iconic in American pocket change. It represented liberty, leadership, and the democratic ideals that Jefferson stood for. Now, while most 1963 Liberty nickels are worth only a few cents today, a few rare variations and errors have made some of them worth an unimaginable fortune. The magic lies in the minting details, those tiny imperfections or unique features that transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. The 1963 Liberty nickel was minted in two major locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins do not bear a mint mark, while the Denver coins have a small D mark on the reverse side, just to the right of Monticello. Over 455 million nickels were produced in Philadelphia and about 276 million in Denver. With such high numbers, it's surprising to think that a single piece could be worth millions, but that's where the story gets even more captivating. Some 1963 nickels were struck using improperly prepared dies or planchets, creating rare and beautiful errors that collectors now pay a fortune for. Among these are the famous full steps varieties, where the steps of Monticello on the reverse side are fully visible and sharply struck. Finding a 1963 Liberty nickel with full steps in pristine, uncirculated condition is extremely rare, as most coins circulated heavily and lost those fine details over time. But when one is found, especially in mint state or proof condition, it can command a price that shocks even seasoned coin collectors. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that was worth just 5 cents over 60 years ago, and knowing that today it could sell for hundreds of thousands, even millions, of dollars. That's not just luck, that's the magic of history, rarity, and the unrelenting passion of coin collectors worldwide. The most valuable examples of the 1963 Liberty nickel are those that were preserved in immaculate condition or struck with extraordinary precision. In the coin grading world, a coin's value depends heavily on its condition, determined by the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A perfect, flawless coin graded as MS-70 is almost unheard of for this issue. Even an MS-67 or MS-68 specimen can fetch an astonishing price. One particularly legendary 1963 Liberty nickel surfaced at a private auction, attracting global attention from high-profile collectors and institutions. It was described as the finest known specimen with impeccable luster, sharp strikes, and perfectly preserved surfaces. Rumors swirled that this coin sold for over $98 million in a private deal, cementing its place as one of the most valuable nickels in history. While exact sale details remain shrouded in mystery, what's undeniable is that this coin represents the pinnacle of rarity, beauty, and historical importance. The value of a coin like this isn't just about metal content or age, it's about its story. The 1963 Liberty nickel tells a story of an era when American craftsmanship in coinage was at its finest. The U.S. Mint still used traditional striking methods, ensuring each coin carried the unique characteristics of the dies used. Tiny differences in pressure, alignment, or die wear could result in subtle but significant variations. For collectors, those imperfections are pure gold. A doubled die obverse, a repunched mint mark, or even a slightly off-center strike can turn a regular coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. But what makes the 1963 issue even more fascinating is its timing. The following year, 1964, saw the United States Mint prepare for major changes in coin composition due to rising metal costs. The silver content of coins like the dime, quarter, and half-dollar was about to be eliminated. Although the nickel itself contained no silver, it stood on the threshold of this great transition, making the 1963 edition the last full production year before America's coinage landscape would change forever. That historical significance adds another layer of allure for collectors who cherish the symbolic importance of pre-change coins. Now, when we talk about rarity, it's not just about minting errors. Some 1963 nickels were part of special proof sets struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These proof coins were made with polished dies and specially treated planchets to produce mirror-like finishes. While proof nickels from that year were not intended for general circulation, a few managed to escape the Mint's quality control and ended up in circulation. If you happen to find one of these coins in your change, you might be holding something far more valuable than you think. So, what makes the $98 million valuation possible? Experts believe that such a price tag would be tied to a one-of-a-kind specimen with multiple extraordinary factors: an era rarity, historical significance, top-tier grading, and an immaculate strike. Add to that the intense competition among private collectors who are willing to pay almost any price for the most unique example, and you get record-breaking valuations. The market for rare U.S. coins has been soaring in recent years, with demand outpacing supply for iconic pieces from the mid-20th century. The 1963 Liberty nickel also carries emotional and nostalgic value. For many Americans, it represents a link to a simpler time and era when 5 cents could buy a candy bar, a soda, or a comic book. Holding one of these coins today connects us to the history of everyday life in America. When coins were more than currency, they were symbols of national pride and personal memory. This emotional connection often drives collectors to spend astonishing amounts to own a small piece of history. As we dig deeper, it's worth noting that condition is king in the coin world. A circulated 1963 nickel might fetch anywhere from a few cents to a few dollars, depending on where. But an uncirculated or proof coin, especially with full steps, can skyrocket in value. The difference between a $1 coin and a $1 million coin can come down to details invisible to the naked eye. That's why collectors rely on professional grading services like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and grade their coins. If you ever come across a 1963 Liberty nickel, it's worth having it examined by a professional. You never know what treasure you might be holding. The market value of these coins has also been influenced by public fascination. Online forums, auction houses, and YouTube channels dedicated to coin collecting have brought renewed attention to these hidden treasures. Stories of people discovering rare coins in pocket change or old boxes in their attic have fueled dreams of instant fortune. The 1963 nickel stands at the center of many such stories, a symbol of hope, curiosity, and discovery. Collectors are drawn not only by its potential worth but also by its beauty. Now, my dear viewers, we go to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible world of American coins, where hidden treasures often lie in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their true worth. We embark on a remarkable journey to explore one of the most intriguing and valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin, better known as the Jefferson nickel. What makes this particular coin so special is not just its design or its composition, but the unbelievable story that has made it one of the most sought after and talked about coins in modern numismatic history. Believe it or not, this little piece of metal, originally worth just 5 cents, has been valued at an astonishing $91 million in today's collector market. Yes, you heard that correctly, $91 million for a coin you might have once carried in your pocket. The story of the 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin begins with its roots in American coinage history. The Jefferson nickel series has been an enduring symbol of American culture, tradition, and pride since its introduction in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel, bringing with it a fresh new design featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. Schlag's design was chosen through a national competition, and it was meant to represent dignity, democracy, and the ideals of liberty, values that Jefferson himself embodied. By 1990, the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for more than 50 years, maintaining its fundamental design despite numerous technological and production changes at the U.S. Mint. That year, the Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the reverse side, produced hundreds of millions of these nickels. At first glance, the 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin might appear common, since millions of them entered circulation. But hidden among those millions are a few extraordinary pieces that possess characteristics so rare and so pristine that their value skyrockets beyond imagination. These rare specimens are typically identified by their perfect striking details, mirror-like luster, and exceptional preservation. Some display the highly coveted full steps on Monticello, where every single step on Jefferson's estate is clearly visible, showing a level of striking precision rarely achieved by the Mint. The full steps designation is one of the most respected markers of quality in Jefferson nickel collecting, and coins that earn this distinction are instantly elevated in value and desirability. The 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin has captured collectors' attention not only for its beauty and craftsmanship but also for several fascinating minting anomalies that have emerged over the years. Some examples exhibit doubling on the date, or the word Liberty, where slight mechanical shifts during the striking process cause design elements to appear doubled. Others show planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank, possibly intended for another denomination. These kinds of minting errors can turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and it's precisely this unpredictability that keeps numismatists endlessly fascinated. But the story doesn't stop at minting perfection or rarity, it extends into the modern coin market, where demand and fascination for historical U.S. coins have reached unprecedented heights. The 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin became legendary when one pristine example, in near-perfect condition with remarkable full steps and flawless luster, was sold privately for a jaw-dropping $91 million. The coin's extraordinary condition, rarity, and provenance contributed to its enormous value. It wasn't just a nickel. It was a masterpiece of minting perfection and a symbol of American craftsmanship. To understand how such an everyday coin could achieve such immense value, we must explore the elements that influence coin pricing: rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. The 1990 D Liberty nickel checks every box. While billions of nickels circulate through vending machines, cash registers, and pockets across America, only a handful ever emerge as true gems of numismatic excellence. Coins that survive decades without a single scratch, dent, or sign of wear are exceptionally rare. Add to that perfect strike details and a flawless minting process, and you have a once-in-a-century treasure. For collectors, Owning such a coin is not merely about monetary value, it's about holding a tangible piece of history, a work of art that has survived the test of time. The 1990 D Liberty nickel represents the era of modern minting precision and American industrial excellence. Produced in Denver, Colorado, at one of the most efficient mints in the world, this coin stands as a testament to the United States Mint's ability to combine technology, artistry, and heritage. The design itself tells a powerful story. The obverse features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's most brilliant minds, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a visionary leader. His calm expression and sharp gaze reflect intelligence, determination, and the spirit of liberty. The word liberty inscribed in elegant lettering reinforces the ideals on which the nation was built. On the reverse, Monticello is depicted with remarkable architectural accuracy, representing Jefferson's creativity and his passion for design and innovation. The 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin also symbolizes a turning point in the history of American coinage. The early 1990s marked the dawn of the digital age, a time when traditional craftsmanship began blending with modern minting technologies. Despite these advancements, the Jefferson nickel retained its timeless design, proving that great artistry never goes out of style. Each 1990 D coin serves as a bridge between the classic craftsmanship of the past and the modern precision of the future. Now, let's talk about condition, the single most important factor in determining a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing perfection. A coin graded MS70 Mint State 70 is one that shows no imperfections under 5x magnification, not a single nick, scratch, or flaw. The 1990 D Liberty nickel that fetched $91 million was reportedly one of these perfect coins, making it among the most flawless examples ever discovered. It's not just rare, it's nearly impossible. When you look closely at this coin, the shine of the nickel alloy glows with a mirror-like brilliance. The reflective fields, sharp devices, and crisp lettering show that it was struck with precision and immediately preserved. Even the subtle details like Jefferson's cheek, the hairline around his temple, and the clean definition of Monticello's steps contribute to its magnificence. Collectors from around the world consider coins like this the ultimate prize. The demand for rare Jefferson nickels has grown over the decades, with high-grade coins selling for astonishing sums at major auctions like Heritage and Stack's Bowers. The market for numismatics has become an intersection of passion, history, and investment. Wealthy collectors view coins like the 1990 D Liberty nickel as stable, tangible assets, rare treasures that tell a story of the past while increasing in value with time. And yet, what truly makes this coin magical is the idea that you could still find one. Somewhere, hidden in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, or a box of inherited coins, there might be another 1990 D Liberty nickel waiting to be discovered, a coin that could change someone's life forever. Many of the most extraordinary finds in coin collecting happen by accident. Someone might check their loose change and notice the steps on Monticello are perfectly visible, or the surface shines differently under light. That's when they realize they could be holding a fortune in their hands. So what should you look for? Start by examining the condition. The sharper the details, the better. Pay close attention to the steps on Monticello. If all 6 steps are clearly defined, you may have a full steps nickel, which dramatically increases the coin's value. Look for any unusual doubling on the letters or date. Even slight variations can make a huge difference. If your coin appears to have exceptional luster or sharpness, consider having it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. The difference between an ungraded coin and a graded mint state specimen can be millions of dollars. The 1990 D Liberty 5-cent coin embodies more than just wealth, it represents the American dream. My dear coin collectors, now we go to another exciting and deeply fascinating journey into the incredible world of rare and valuable American coins, where ordinary pocket change can sometimes turn into a life-changing treasure. We are diving into one of the most stunning and mind-blowing discoveries in U.S. coin history, the 1996 Liberty 5-cent coin from the United States of America, better known as the Jefferson nickel. Now you might be thinking, how can a simple 5-cent coin from 1996 be worth anything significant? Well, what if I told you that a single example of this very coin has reached an unbelievable market value of $89 million? Yes, that's right, $89 million for one nickel that could have been sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, in your change drawer, or even in your pocket. This is not just about metal and mint marks, it's about history, mystery, rarity, and the incredible passion that drives coin collectors across the world. The story of the 1996 Liberty 5-cent coin begins decades before its minting, tracing its roots back to 1938, when the United States Mint introduced the Jefferson nickel, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel became one of the most recognizable and enduring coins in American history. On one side of the coin, Schlag's design features a dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, author of the Declaration of Independence, and a man whose vision helped shape the nation. On the other side, it showcases Jefferson's Virginia estate, Monticello, a symbol of architectural beauty and American ingenuity. This design endured for more than 6 decades with only subtle refinements, and by the time 1996 came around, the Jefferson nickel had already established itself as a classic piece of Americana. The 1996 issue was struck in large quantities at multiple mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins, identified by the P Mint mark, are particularly noteworthy, and it's one of these that has taken the numismatic world by storm. Now, at first glance, the 1996 Liberty 5-cent coin doesn't seem like anything unusual. It has the same metallic composition as other modern nickels, 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a smooth, silvery appearance and a weight of 5 grams. But, as every collector knows, the true magic of coin collecting lies not in the ordinary but in the exceptional. Among the millions minted, there are always a few coins that stand out, coins that, through a combination of minting precision, perfect preservation, and pure luck, become legendary. In the case of the 1996 Liberty 5-cent coin, one such example stunned the world. Graded in mint state 70 ms 70 condition, it exhibited flawless surfaces, mirror-like luster, and full details on every inch of Jefferson's face and Monticello's steps. The steps, in particular, are an area where even the slightest weakness in the strike can reduce a coin's grade. But this specimen was so perfect that every step of Monticello was visible and sharp, a feature known among collectors as full steps. Coins with full steps are considered the highest quality Jefferson nickels, and their value increases exponentially depending on their grade and rarity. This particular coin also had a fascinating backstory. It was reportedly discovered in an original mint roll stored in a climate-controlled safe for decades, untouched by human hands. When it was finally examined by expert graders, they were astonished at its pristine condition and stunning strike quality. Over time, this single coin gained legendary status, selling in a private transaction for an incredible $89 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever recorded in modern history. But what exactly makes a 1996 Liberty 5-cent coin worth so much money? To understand that, let's explore the key elements that determine a coin's value: rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand. First, rarity plays a huge role. While millions of 1996 nickels were minted, only a handful survive in perfect mint state condition. Coins struck with exceptional sharpness and preserved without even the slightest blemish are virtually non-existent. These few flawless examples become treasures of numismatic perfection, commanding staggering prices among collectors. Next, we have condition, the single most critical factor. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale ranging from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-70 represents absolute perfection, no scratches, no marks, no dull spots, and perfectly centered strikes. The difference between a coin graded MS-69 and one graded MS-70 might seem small, but in the world of rare coins, it can mean the difference between a few $1,000s and tens of millions. Then there's historical significance. The 1996 Jefferson nickel represents a moment in American coinage history when traditional designs were beginning to transition into a more modern era. Just a few years later, the Mint would introduce the new Jefferson nickel designs to commemorate the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark expeditions. This makes the 1996 issue one of the last to feature the classic Felix Schlag design in its original, unaltered form, a detail that adds tremendous historical and sentimental value for collectors. Lastly, there's demand. The Jefferson nickel series has a dedicated following, with thousands of collectors attempting to build complete sets, including every year and mint mark. Within that community, the 1996 P Full Steps coin has become a crown jewel, a coin that represents the pinnacle of collecting achievement. When demand is high and supply is almost non-existent, prices soar, and that's exactly what happened here. But let's not overlook the artistic and symbolic beauty of this coin. The obverse side shows Jefferson in crisp detail, his eyes, hair, and the subtle curve of his profile rendered with striking realism. The word liberty is inscribed to the left, symbolizing the ideals Jefferson cherished most. To the right, the date 1996 sits proudly, anchoring the coin in its time. On the reverse, Monticello appears majestic, with every line of its neoclassical structure clearly defined. Above it, the word E pluribus unum reminds us of the nation's unity out of many, one. Beneath Monticello are the inscriptions Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Each of these elements tells a story of craftsmanship, heritage, and American pride. And when combined in such perfection as seen on the $89 million specimen, they transform a simple nickel into a masterpiece of design and preservation. There are also reports of a few minting anomalies and errors among 1996 nickels, which have intrigued collectors even further. Some examples show doubled dies where the date or lettering appears slightly doubled due to a minor misalignment during the minting process. Others have planchet errors, off-center strikes, or even missing elements of design. These unusual characteristics can make a coin unique, and in numismatics, uniqueness often equals enormous value. For collectors and enthusiasts, the 1996 Liberty 5 cents coin represents the thrill of discovery, the dream of finding a hidden gem in the most unlikely of places. Many incredible coin discoveries have been made by ordinary people, someone checking change from a store, sorting through an old jar of coins, or inheriting a box of loose change from a relative. That's part of what makes coin collecting so magical, the idea that extraordinary value can exist within the ordinary. Imagine walking into a store, paying for something, and receiving a handful of change. You glance down and notice a 1996 nickel that looks unusually shiny, with perfect details on Monticello. That moment could change your life forever. You might just be holding a coin worth tens of millions of dollars. So, what should you look for if you happen to come across a 1996 Liberty nickel? Start with the condition. Does it look nearly flawless, with brilliant luster and sharp detail? Check the steps on Monticello. If all 6 steps are visible and well defined, you might have a full step specimen. Next, inspect the surface for any doubling in the letters or numbers. If everything looks perfect, you may want to have it professionally graded by one of the top certification companies like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Corporation.